What's up, guys? This is Josh from We Are Machine. Before I get to this week's Spotlight track, I first wanted to let you know about a new remix I've had the pleasure of premiering here on the channel. Australian duo Fourthstate released their Wondershot production back in November of last year on Late Night Music, and now the label is revisiting the track with two new remixes from UK duo Framewerk. Darren James and Alec Milner, aka Framewerk, have delivered a thunderous progressive breaks remix, but I was very fortunate to be able to premiere their beatless reprise mix of Wondershot here at We Are Machine. This version grabbed me in a way much like the ambient mix of Stars from Invisible Ink from years ago, which for me is really saying something. So check out the spacey visualizer created by my good friend Manuel Mayer of Framework's amazing reprise mix of Fourthstate's Wondershot at the link in the description. And that's out this week on Late Night Music. By the way, if you'd like to make a donation to the Disasters Emergency Committee Ukraine Humanitarian Appeal, I've provided a link in the description. Contributions will provide aid, including food, water, and shelter to families fleeing the conflict. So if you've been looking for ways to help, please give what you can. Now, let's get down to business. With all the chaos going on in the world today, I wanted to draw your attention to one of the most beautiful remixes I've heard so far this year. Fragments is an exciting new series from the preeminent classical label Deutsche Grammophon, where 12 remixers are invited to provide modern interpretations of a single composer. And first up, we have the revered French composer Erik Satie. The remixes are first being released as singles, which will then culminate in a full album release coming in May. Remixers involved in the Satie project include Monolink, Christian Löffler, Heinrich Schwarz, and Pantha du Prince. But for this video, I wanted to focus on the awe-inspiring rework of Gymnopédie No. 1 from Dominik Eulberg, which is out this week. For some context, Satie's Gymnopédies and Gnossiens are among his best-known works, and Gymnopédie No. 1 in particular is such an emotionally stirring, minimalist, accessible piece. One YouTuber, Dara Olaikos, commented that Gymnopédie No. 1 will be playing as the credits roll after the end of the world. Just in case you're new to the piece of music, I think that comment kind of captures the tone nicely. On his rework, Dominik Eulberg doesn't recycle any elements from a previously recorded version of the piece and instead opts to create all new melodic textures. Even in doing so, he never loses touch with that somber, melancholic tone of the original. The remix opens gently with that immediately recognizable seesawing chord progression, accompanied by some tumbling low end and some rustling organic soundscapes. Glassy, watery, melodic elements lead the way amidst airy, atmospheric blasts and crunchy, distorted percussive hits. This remix is as refreshing and inventive as it is loyal and reverent. Now, Dominik is always quick to point to nature, specifically birds, as a source of inspiration for his work. But for as long as I've been aware of his music, Eulberg has that ability to tap into a classical-leaning melodic sensibility, and I felt that a remix like this is something that's been building for a long time. I've provided some links in the description to a few key tracks from the German artist that reflect this classical sensibility for you guys to check out. These include primarily solo productions released on the Traum Schallplatten label over the years, but there's also a collab with Gabriel Ananda that's very deserving, along with some remixes for Key Records as well as Vibrant. Through the release of this Fragment series, what Deutsche Grammophon is doing, this fusing of classical music with electronica, is kind of groundbreaking. The legendary label is reshaping and revitalizing classical music in a way that makes it feel very modern and very contemporary. I could see some classical purists feeling outraged, their heads exploding at the mere suggestion of a blasphemous project like this. But the Fragment series will inevitably turn on a new segment of listeners to classical music who maybe weren't about to drop some Rachmaninoff or Stravinsky into their playlists. And at the end of the day, isn't that a good thing? In closing, my question to you is this. Which electronic music artist and which classical composer would you like to see connect in this way? Sasha revisiting Debussy? Or Guy J reshaping Chopin? Leave your suggestions in the comments. I'm Josh with We Are Machine, and I'll be back soon with more Spotlight tracks, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks, guys.